I'm Dylan Russell, aged 23.
What were your initial worries after hearing of the pandemic at the beginning?
I guess job security was definitely one of them, since I had literally just started a new job within the past month and wasn't really established within the company yet. So if anyone was going to be made redundant, I felt like it would have been me.
When did you first hear that you could possibly lose your job?
I actually didn't have any warning at all until I actually found out I was being made redundant. I had missed the furlough cut-off date, which at that point was at the end of February, and I had started at the beginning of March, so I wasn't eligible for the furlough. And then I received a text followed by a phone call, basically telling me that I was being made redundant.
So how did you stay motivated while job searching during lockdown?
It definitely was difficult to stay motivated during lockdown, but I basically tried to treat it like a job, a regular 9 to 5, so I still woke up early, worked throughout the day, and still had my evenings to kind of relax and unwind with my flatmates.
What was your overall experience of job searching during the lockdown?
Definitely tough, I feel like at that point so many people were losing their jobs that there was maybe twice as much competition for each job listing, and then on top of that, obviously companies did not have a lot of money. Very few of them were at that point willing to invest in new employees.
Whilst you were job searching, you were successful and got offered an interview. How did you find the whole digital interview process compared to normal? Obviously, soon after job searching, you were successful and got offered an interview. How did you find the digital interview process overall?
Yeah, that was my first ever Zoom interview. It was definitely very different to a real life interview. I feel like I'm someone who relies on body language quite a lot to get my points across and also to perceive other people. As well as that, you have the sort of technical difficulties that could happen in your head. So you're maybe worrying about your camera or how your mic sounds during the interview, which is obviously slightly distracting.
Because of that, did you find it more difficult to make a good impression on your employers?
It's hard to tell really, but I think overall during like a 40 minute interview, if the questions the interviewer asks are good, then they'll still get a good idea of if it's the right candidate or not.
Since you weren't there in person for your initial interview, how was your experience first going in and meeting your new co-workers?
Yeah, definitely quite daunting. Every time I've been for an interview before, I've been given like a small tour of like the facilities and introduced to people. So turning up on your first day with absolutely everything being completely alien and new is definitely very daunting and probably a lot more intimidating than usual.
Obviously, there were restrictions put in place to coincide with the new safety guidelines for Covid-19. Did the restrictions on your work environment affect your work ethic at all?
The restrictions definitely made starting a new job slightly more difficult. Obviously training is very difficult when you have to be 2 meters apart from people. There was limits on how many people could be in each room or office, and limits on how many people could be in the canteen eating lunch with each other. Definitely things that just make your day slightly more difficult and probably slightly less pleasant than it normally would be socialising with your co-workers or getting the training that you need when you start a brand new job.
And lastly, what advice would you give to people who also lost their job during lockdown that were maybe searching for a job at the same time as you?
I think my advice would be kind of just to cast a wide net, maybe apply for jobs that you would normally apply for, ones that you maybe don't think you'll get. That was kind of what I did. I was working for an engineering company and ended up getting employed by a science company. So, I'd say maybe don't be scared to deviate from your usual field and see what's out there, because you never know.